and 215 Ela W, where we will be introducing topic sentences, not only for extended response or essay questions, but also for body paragraphs. So, this is a super important lesson in class. We're talking about topic sentences, which is really how you ground the reader of your work. And we're always thinking about the reader and how they're going to receive our information. This is where you let them know exactly what it is that we're going to be doing. Oftentimes, we can get away with messing up later on in a paragraph because we were so clear at the very beginning. The topic sentence is the most important sentence because it tells the reader, here's what I want you to know. Okay? Well, I'll explain it more, but here's what you need to know. And that's what we're doing with each of our topic sentences. Let's have someone read today's aim, and it is we will be able to write topic sentences for the body paragraphs of our essays on our planning page. Now, the first thing that we need to do, and the way that we get our topic sentences, it comes from the question. It comes from bucking the question. So, show us, do you agree that it's important to restate the question in your answer statement? Exactly, because that's what we're being asked, so that's what we need to address. If we don't restate the question, then the reader's kind of lost as to, like, what are they even talking about right now? Okay, so let's buck this question very quickly. We're going to look at the model, and this is going to give us, we're going to work through this example, and eventually you're going to be doing this on your own. But without knowing anything about a certain story involving Alex and the Erebarn, maybe I should know that story, sisters. So let's read this together. Actually, we're following along, but go ahead and read. Jefferson, what personal characteristics do Alex and the Iberian sisters share? How did these qualities help them reach their goals? Use details from both articles to support your response. Do we have both articles? No, we're not going to use both articles. Instead, we're just going to work on answering the question using our topic sentences, and we don't even need to know more of the information. So when we buck a question, we identify the major parts of that question. Remember, what is the B for? Box. The U for underline. What do we underline? That's right, the verb. And then C is for all of the circling the important information that we need to restate. Good. Each body paragraph should address one of the major parts. Often the bullet points provide extra support in identifying major parts. And we're going to see that with our bullet points in just a second, how that's going to give us a better understanding of, like, excuse me, wait, what are we supposed to do? So always ground your topic sentences in the question itself. Let's look at the model question. Have someone read. Jordan, take it away. What personal characteristics do Alex and the Erebarn, so sad, sisters share? How did these qualities help them reach their goals? Use details from both articles to support your response. Look, this is a daunting question. And if I just gave this to you and said, go, give me your response, first of all, you'd probably say, can we read the story first? But secondly, you'd think, that's a lot. Okay? Luckily, the authors have then broken down the question for us in bullet points. And we'll get to that in just a second. But first, let's buck this question. So first of all, what should we box? That is what. Good. And underline. Personal characteristics do sisters share. So we underline share. So it's important that we talk about characteristics they share. Excellent. And important information that we should circle. I'm going to go personal characteristics. Okay. Alex and, the Erebarn sisters. And then so we've got a part 2, which is how, box, do these qualities help sisters reach their goals? Help reach goals. And the last part, use 2 details from both articles to support your response. A lot of the questions that we'll be addressing are going to conclude that way. Look, we don't need to restate that part. So this is an important takeaway. When answering the question, you never need to say 2 details from both of the articles to support my response are, and I see that in some of our writing, is we'll say, we'll make a claim, and then we'll say 1 detail is that. I don't need to say it like, that's what we're doing. We don't need to give it away. It doesn't need to be spelled out that this is a detail. We just throw in the detail written in the text. So we're going to need 2 details. All right. In our response, we need to identify personal characteristics that the sisters share. So we'll check that off as we read. Good. So first of all, we need to come up with a characteristic. And we've been doing this with Esperanza Rising in the ELA class, where we'll read a passage, and we'll say, oh yeah, she's a characteristic. Well, what are the characteristics that we've said that Esperanza has? Okay, so she's, especially at the beginning, you're right, selfish. Okay, cool. Judgmental, good. Wealthy, okay. And so these are, I guess we're going to look for something like that to explain these sisters. Now, we want to explain the qualities that help them reach their goal, explain how these qualities, okay, so here's two things this is a giveaway. First, identify the personal characteristics that the sisters share. So the first paragraph that we should create should answer this first part of the question: what characteristics do they share? And then we get two more bullet points that say, explain how these qualities helped Alex, explain how these qualities helped the Ela sisters. That tells us that we should have a paragraph for each. So how many paragraphs should we have in total to make up the body of our essay? 3. Very good. And then lastly, it instructs us to use details from both articles to support our response. Again, that's just use details from both articles. That's advice. That's telling us that in order to get full credit, that's what we're going to need. But it's not something like, we don't need to start a 4th paragraph that begins 2 details that support. We're going to embed those in our body paragraphs as they are. So the answer statement reads, and we'll have someone read for us. Please go. Alex and the Ela sisters are courageous. What's our characteristic we're using? Courageous. Very good. Courageousness helps Alex become the best dancer in her town and help the Ela sisters become the first woman pilots. Our answer statement has told us everything that we need to explain in our body paragraphs. Are the 3 checks listed in the answer statement? Take 30 seconds to turn and talk. Go. And we're back. Raise your hand if you think that each of these 3 bullet points have been addressed in the answer statement. Good. We've got almost full support in the class. That's excellent. And so we should have enough information for each of our body topic sentences. Now, we'll have someone come to the board. Darian can come to the board and write as we explain. So our first topic sentence should be simply, and we're not going to overthink this. Look, we've already given an answer statement to the full question that's beginning our essay. All we need to do now is use part of it. We're basically dividing this by 3. Okay, you should remember this from math. Like, if we're going to take this, and we're going to divide it by 3, then we should have 3 different statements. Our first statement: Alex and the Ela sisters, are courageous. That's a good topic sentence. That will begin our first paragraph. All we need to do then is address this first question that's asked: is what are the characteristics they share? They share courageousness. Alex and the Ela sisters are courageous. Okay. What's the next thing that we should address in our body paragraph? Body paragraph 2. Courageousness helps Alex become the best dancer in her town. Boom. We have a complex sentence where we have 2 different statements. We're only going to address the first part of that statement in our second paragraph. So right in here, courageousness helps Alex become the best dancer in town. And then who can tell us what is going to be our third topic sentence that will prove? Courageousness helps the Ela sisters become the first woman pilots. Good. So we've taken a question, we've bucked the question, we've learned what we need to use to respond. We've then read the bullet points to get a better understanding of how many paragraphs we should write and what the writer of the question is looking for. We see our answer statement, which is going to be the hardest part, but it's given to us here. And when we create our body paragraphs, all we're doing is picking apart that answer statement and addressing each part of it. And what are we going to use to support our answers after we give a topic statement in our body paragraphs? We should use details from the text and always, always, always explain those details.